All right, we're going to take a look at the global race for AI, but probably not in the way you're used to seeing it. This is the hidden map of who is really putting their money where their mouth is.
So when you think about the global AI race, who comes to mind? It's the US and China, right? The two heavyweights, the usual suspects.
But the real story, when you dig into the data, is way more surprising. Because you know what? It's not just a two-horse race. Not even close.
To see what's really happening, you have to look at this map. It's a different way of seeing things, one that measures strategic investment, not just who's throwing the most cash around.
Here's the quick guide on how to read it. It's pretty simple. The further to the right, the bigger the economy. The higher up you go, the more of that economy is being invested in AI. And a bigger bubble? Well, that means more investment per person. So let's dive into our first surprise.
So our first story is what we're calling the quiet achiever. And you might be a little shocked to learn that we're talking about Sweden.
I mean, just look at this. Per person, Sweden isn't just a leader in private AI investment. They are absolutely lapping the field. It's incredible.
And it's the exact same story when you measure it against the size of their economy. Once again, Sweden is leading the pack. They are completely all in on this.
And that is why, on our map, Sweden sits all by itself up in that top left corner. A smaller economy, yes, but making a massive, focused bet on AI. They are punching so far above their weight.
Now for a totally different kind of story. The data reveals a category it calls the overlooked dictatorship. And trust me, it is not who you'd expect.
You know, whenever you hear people talking about dictatorships winning the AI race, they almost always mean China. Beijing is the default answer.
But the data shows something else entirely. The UAE is committing a far greater share of its economy to AI than China is. Seriously, it's not even close.
This makes the UAE a major strategic player. They are placing a heavy, concentrated bet on AI that is just enormous relative to the size of their economy.
So finally, what about a country that seems to be sitting out the AI gold rush? Well, that brings us to the cautious powerhouse, Japan.
So why does Japan's private investment look so low on paper? The story here is just different. A ton of their spending is actually public sector, key investments get booked overseas, and there's a real cultural caution after the dot-com bust. It kind of feels like they're not falling for the hype.
And what's the result? On this map of private investment, the tech giant Japan actually appears to be a laggard, a huge economy with really low relative spending.
Okay, so let's pull it all together. This map tells three really distinct stories that all lead to one powerful insight.
You've got the quiet achiever, the overlooked dictatorship, and the cautious powerhouse, three completely different national AI strategies, all visible on this one single map.
And this is the key takeaway. The real story of the AI race isn't about the absolute dollars spent. It's about strategic intent. It's a measure of national priority that reveals how and why countries are really investing in their future.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If this is the hidden map of AI investment today, who do you think is actually best positioned to win tomorrow?